Good morning, everybody, or as my youngest Piper would say, good morning. My name is Mike at Filmboy24. We're back at her again, round number 41 of Found Film, where we find a really old roll of film. We pop it right in there, in that Lomo tank. We process it. See, it's an old roll of film that was shot many years ago, presumably. And we find out what's on it, and I bring it to you. You know, I feel like I've been gone forever. It's been a couple of weeks since I posted a video, and I have to say this has been probably the busiest last couple of weeks this year for me. I probably took on, maybe a little too much all at once, but I'm having a ball. I'm processing and scanning a whole lot of film for people right now. Probably done 25 to 30 rolls in the last couple of weeks. So, and if you process your own film and scan it, that takes quite a while. It was also my wedding anniversary, so my wife and I, we booked it for a good long weekend to Savannah, Georgia. We had a ball. I took some film cameras with me. None of that's been processed yet, but I looked like, an idiot out there. We went to the Bonaventure Cemetery, a very popular and famous cemetery in this country. Saw little Gracie's grave, but I had like this array of cameras hanging all over me in the middle of the cemetery, so I'm certain that I must have looked like quite a goofball, like I do now. I haven't processed any of that film yet, so we'll see. If I get any halfway decent results, you're going to see it. I also did one more round with my buddy's camera that sent it to me. A subscriber sent me a camera, a Sankyo EM40 XL. If you didn't see the video, I reviewed it not too long ago. I think it was my last video. I'll put a link to that video up there in the top corner there somewhere. But I also gave that camera one final little fun test run. Haven't processed that roll of film yet either. I used a fairly recent roll of Ektachrome E160. Recent as in it was expired in 96, late 96. So I think I'm going to try to give that an E6 bath and see if we can get any beautifully muted, shifted colors out of that roll. But I did a time lapse. I time-lapsed 3 or 4 different things. Again, I don't think things were moving quite the way I wanted them to, so we'll see. If it comes out, I'll show it to you. If it doesn't, well, I'll just tell you it didn't. Really. And lastly, I did do my little comparison video. I used, I think, 4 different cameras. I've been talking about it for the last few weeks, where I would use my Canon 514 XL and 3 or 4 other cameras that were very similar to that, my Minolta XL401. And I used those cameras right around Halloween. My wife and my youngest daughter were carving pumpkins, so I changed cameras. Again, I don't know if that one worked out too well either. I'm going to process that roll. Haven't done it yet. Settle down. And we'll see if we get anything out of that. All right, I know I drifted, but I'm just kind of letting you know where I'm at and why it's been so long since I posted a video. That's why. Now you know. Back at it. So we're doing today, or I did anyway, a roll of Ektachrome Type A, 160 Type A film. This is sound film. If you're not familiar with sound film, years ago they would put a little stripe on one edge of the film, this Super 8 film. Well, they put it on both edges, but really for audio purposes, one side was a little thicker than the other, and you could record sound on your Super 8 film. It would record directly on. Your camera would allow you to do that. Then when you projected it, your sound reading head was 18 frames in front of your picture, but it synced perfectly. So you could hear the audio while you were seeing the pictures. Well, that's what we have here. This is a roll from the Cameraman Mike Sound Film box set. If you're not familiar with that, take a peek. I got a playlist. I got them all sort of nicely arranged in there, all comfortable. They got their blankies. This is about, I think, 17 now. We're on roll number 17 out of that big batch of film that I bought at one time from an eBay seller, Cameraman Mike. So if you want to catch up on all of them, go look at the playlist. I processed this particular roll in my norm from Cheers. It was HC110B for 7 minutes. That's it. 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 67. I start with 67 because it warms up a little bit. And then I fix it in Kodak. I don't know why I'm pointing at it, but it kind of looks cool. in Kodak powder fixer for about 7 more minutes. Boom, I'm done. Hang it to dry. When it's dry, I wind it up, and you know, there's a couple more little steps in there. You got to remove the rem jet, which I do at the very beginning, and then again at the end. You know, got to rinse it and wash it, and then I put it in photo flow, and let me show you what I do exactly after I put it in this tank. Here's a little montage. It's about a minute long. If you don't want to watch it, I don't have to add special effects. Forward through it. Here it is. And that's how it's done. If you are not familiar with what we got here, where we're at so far in this little cameraman Mike sound film journey, we know at least fairly certain that most of this film was shot in and around the Arcadia area in California. Late 70s, early 80s, that's where we're in. I think the latest roll we have is somewhere around 1986. We've not gotten to that roll yet. It's still in the old bucket of film. This so far looks to be one family. We know that the centerpiece of the family is Joey. Joey's been in a lot of these films. There is another brother. I can't remember the name right offhand. It may be Michael or Peter. I can't remember. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I would love really to find a family member and kind of turn them on to this. This is their film. So I think they really, you know, they should be privy to these images. So what do we get? Well, I put it in my Lomo UPB-1A processing tank. If you're not familiar with these, it'll hold 2 50-foot lengths at once. If you're not familiar with these, I can familiarize you with them. I'll put a link up there on exactly how you use them. I'll show you how to extract the film out of here, put it in there, and we'll process it. It's real simple. So what did we get? I'm going to show you right now, and we'll be back. You might recognize some of it. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about it just for a minute. Here it is.
Yes.
Fast, everybody go! Up and down, 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 up and down. Let's go, quick. Very nice, Joy. Let's go back to the same thing. Arms down straight. Ready, go! Go, 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 you guys. Go.
What happened?
All right, now we're going to ready to go, Lisa. Reach your arms high, Joy. Reach it high. Nice and straight. Good, Joy. Splash your feet. Keep splashing your feet. Hey, honey, keep going. All right, stop, you guys. Stop. Doing beautiful. Beautiful. Head down, Joy. Keep your head down. Arms straight. Alex, open your eyes. Head down, attaboy. Keep splashing your feet. Oh, Alex. Arms out straight. Arms out straight all the way. Keep splashing your feet, Joy. Keep splashing hard for me.
Okay, Mark, why don't you go over in the middle more, Mark, so you don't get tangled up in the wall.
Good.
Okay, now head back. Ready?
Joey?
Keep both arms straight. Both arms
Okay,
straight.
head back. You ready to go, Larry? Nick, right behind you.
Kick, Larry.
Okay, Lisa, head back. Ready to go.
Okay, Mark.
Kick your feet, Joy.
Keep it go.
Pull your arm. Head down. Head
down.
Keep your arms in
Head
the
down.
water.
Keep your feet. Keep the water, Joy. Keep it real high. Arms out of the water. Arms out of the water. Let's keep
Squeeze
your
those
feet.
legs
Arms
together.
out of the water, Joy.
Squeeze them together.
Get your arms out of the water. Reach them out.
Toes out.
Straight.
Bring your feet out.
Splash your feet, Joy. Splash as hard as you
Your feet
can.
out.
Splash real hard. Those arms out of the water. All right. Go to your safety stroke. Go to your safety stroke. Just big arms real hard. Keep your arms real hard all the way. Splash your feet out, boy. Keep going.
Boy, oh boy. I did not know about that one.
Head down. Those feet. Let's splash those feet real hard now. Head down all the way. Splash your feet, Lisa. Keep coming. Ah. Hey, that was good.
Try it. Okay, here we go. Head back.
That was good, you guys. All right.
Let it grow. Keep squeezing them.
I don't know. I will say this. I hope if you'll understand this if you've followed this little series so far. I truly hope that little Joey, at least at some point between 1976 and 1990, made an appearance in the Summer Olympics. That's all I'm going to say. Because he better be one of a swimmer by now. Now, that is the Bud Linden Swim School. We know that because in one of the films, the kids were wearing t-shirts and they said Bud Linden Swim School or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's LV Bud Linden. He's since passed away. I believe he passed away in the late 80s. I don't think Bud Linden is any of the coaches or the, come on, Joy! I don't think that's Bud. I think that's one of the instructors for the school. That might actually be, I'm not 100 percentile. Never got that in school. I'm not 100%, but that might be little Joey's mom. At about a third of the way through, you see the lady taking a picture. I can't tell if she's taking a picture of the child that was already there or waited until Joey made it to the edge and she took a picture of Joey. So you decide. I don't know. Maybe that's little Joey's mom, the little flower girl, the little cutie. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns about this particular series of film. One known for sure is that I did search and I found the edge code on this roll, and it was a circle. And according to Kodak, they put a little handy chart together. A circle means that this roll of film was manufactured in 1976. So we're going to go ahead and say that this roll of film was probably shot in 76, 77, maybe 78. Most of the time people bought a roll of film and they used it. At least I did back in the 80s, 90s. It just wasn't cool to leave it sitting around unless you're like me now, when it's really cool and you got tons of film in the freezer. The film did suffer a lot over the years. I don't know how it was stored originally, probably in a garage or a storage unit somewhere. But it suffered really, really badly, and the emulsion now has our desert cracking, reticulation, whatever you want to call it. It suffered a lot. See, this old film is meant to be pre-hardened. The emulsion needs to be pre-hardened. Well, I don't pre-harden the emulsion. I just cook it in my chemicals at a very, very low temperature so the emulsion doesn't completely come off like this. However, we can't predict how bad the emulsion really is, and in a lot of these cases you've seen in the past, you see the cracking all over the emulsion. That's not really grain, that's the emulsion. So it's nothing I can control. Did the best that I could. I think the sound came out pretty well, synced up nice and easy with my retro sync unit. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like going on this little adventure with me with this sound film box set. We got probably, I think, somewhere in the 28 to 30 rolls left. Some of it's Kodachrome, so we'll see what happens with that. If you did enjoy this, hands, how about tap that like button for me? I would appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It's free. You could do it on the way out. And then when you go back, you know you watch this video because you look and you went, oh, I already liked the video. I must have seen it. How about subscribe for me if you think I've earned your subscription? I'm still honestly really surprised at how many subscribers I have right now. I never ever imagined this tiny little channel that I'm doing for fun would ever get more than just maybe 1,000. I didn't know if I'd ever reach 1,000. Now I'm well over that, and I really appreciate it to everybody that's come along with me. If you're not subscribed, consider doing it. It's fun. I promise you'll laugh at me more than most people do. And until the very next time that I see all you subscribers and non-subscribers, you know who you are. That's what I do at the end, right there. I'll see all of you, or at least kind of picture all of you, on the very next go-around.